In Group Policy Objects, GPOs, when configuring a policy setting, you typically encounter three possible options for a setting: not configured, enabled, and disabled. Policy is set to not configured. It means that no specific configuration has been made for that policy. This option essentially leaves the policy in its default state. The setting will not be enforced by the GPO. If other GPOs or settings at different levels configure this policy, their settings will apply. You should leave policies set to not configured when you don't need to enforce a particular setting, when the policy should be left to the default configuration, or when you want to allow users or other GPOs to override the policy. When a policy is set to enabled, the setting is activated and it will take effect. The associated setting will be enforced, meaning that the policy will be applied to the target system according to its configuration. Some settings may require you to provide additional configuration or specify options when enabled. You want to force a policy to be active and apply to users or computers. For example, enabling password policies, login restrictions, or enforcing desktop lock settings, or enabling specific security measures like Windows Defender antivirus or auditing settings. When a policy is set to disabled, the setting will be explicitly turned off. This will override any default behavior or other settings that would normally apply to that policy. Let's consider the password complexity setting, which enforces that passwords must contain a mix of uppercase, lowercase, numbers, and symbols. If the policy is not configured, the policy is not enforced, and passwords could follow any rules configured elsewhere. If enabled, password complexity is enforced, and all passwords must comply with the specified rules. If disabled, password complexity is disabled, users will not be required to meet the complexity criteria, even if the default domain policy enforces it. Not configured is the default and is used when you don't want to specify any configuration for the policy. Enabled is used to enforce specific settings. Disabled is used to prevent the policy from being applied when you don't want that setting in effect.